The time has finally arrived for episode 20, titled Jesus' First Cleaning of His Father's House. Come join us as Pastor Kenny brews his cup of coffee before our enriching Bible study session begins.
In today's episode, Jesus will get angry, make a whip, and clean out his Father's house. What do you think will make Jesus so angry? Also, Uncle Leroy comes back for a second time. Come and see.
10 minutes later, Pastor Kenny drives to church.
As always, I'm driving to Bible study, but more and more people keep getting in the car with me. Anyways, Mr. Steve-O's friend, Mr. Applepine, never stops talking, brought me back some coffee from New Zealand. Can you guess what flavor it is? Mr. Applepine will give you the options. Mr. Applepine?
Hi, mate. I'm absolutely buzzing with excitement for pineapples. Right. As I penned down in me book, Apple in the Pine, I reckon we all ought to be like a pineapple. Standing tall, sporting a crown, tough on the outside, but sweeter than a dingo pup on the inside. Righto. Now, folks, let's guess Pastor Kenny's coffee. Is it 1, pineapple, 2, pineapple, 3, pineapple, or 4, pineapple? And for those of you playing along at home, the correct answer is, you guessed it, pineapple! I love me some pineapples! Are we in pineapple paradise or what, right? I reckon I'm as happy as a wallaby in a field of pineapples. There's like a blooming pineapple fiesta up in the sky, and I'm telling you, my eyes are like filled with tears of joy. This is bonza. It's so beautiful, mate, right? I wish my mum could see this. She loves pineapples. She always forgets my birthday, but faithfully celebrates National Pineapple Day. I love that woman.
Does this guy ever stop talking?
She wrote a poem about pineapples called Ode to a Pineapple. Let me read you all 89 verses. Oh pineapple, so divine. Thy prickly crown, a sight so fine. From tropic lands you come to grace. Our taste buds dance in sweet embrace. In fruit salads or upon a pie, oh pineapple, you make us sigh. With every bite we taste pure joy.
Sometime later.
No other fruit could dare deploy the tangy zing that you possess. Oh pineapple, you truly impress. So here's to you, oh noble fruit. In culinary feats you're acute. Oh pineapple, how we adore. You're the fruit we all adore more and more.
After Pastor Kenny cleans up the pineapple mess, he prepares the classroom for Bible study, and he can still smell the tangy scent of pineapples lingering in the air like a sweet memory.
Alrighty, class, we need to get started with our Bible study.
Pastor Kenny, can I share a story about a giant bear stealing soy sauce from my parents' fridge?
Johnson, are you sure that really happened?
It's true.
Johnson.
I got angry because it's my father's house and no one has the right to steal his soy sauce.
Really, Johnson? I find that really hard to believe.
I knew you'd say that, so I asked Filbert's Uncle Leroy to help.
Oh no.
Uncle Leroy?
Hey, class, to make a short story long, Johnson told me his problem, so we set a trap. I served overseas in the CIA with explosives. Whoops, that's a secret. Anyways, I hid in the fridge next to the soy sauce. Boy, it was cold. Reminds me of the time I had to sit in a frozen field, alone, for days without moving.
Wow, was that during a secret CIA mission?
No, it was duck hunting season and my foot got stuck in a stinking squirrel trap. Anyways, as I sat freezing in the fridge suffering flashbacks, the giant bear opened the door, and I could not move because my joints were frozen in place. I was kinda struggling with my arthritis.
So who was it?
It was Filbert's Uncle Moses in a bear costume.
Figures.
Oh yeah, if he's Filbert's uncle, that makes him my brother. My memory is not as good as it was before I froze in that icy field. Anyways, my brother Moses snuck down for a midnight snack of soy sauce. Life is weird, right? Too bad few people are as normal as me, whatever my name is.
Why was Filbert's Uncle Moses at Johnson's parents' house at midnight? Never mind. I really need to start class now.
Uncle Leroy is out. I hope those stinking squirrels are not on my truck. They give me flashbacks.
Well, thanks, Uncle Leroy, I guess. Well, Johnson, you did have a right to be upset that someone was coming into your father's house and breaking all the rules by stealing the soy sauce. In a very odd parallel, Jesus is going to become angry when people disrespect his father's house and turn it into a marketplace. You see, the religious leaders in today's episode will not respect the Father's house, but will be focused on making money. Let me show you.
Hey, it's been a long day, so here's another cup of coffee.
Thank you so much. This narrative can be found in the Bible in John chapter 2. Take some time and read this passage for yourself. As a side fact, Jesus cleared the temple twice, so this was his first time. The events in this episode happened around the year 27 AD in Jerusalem, Judea, and Nazareth. Today's main proverb is, don't distract others who are trying to worship God. It's time for the narrative. Let's learn. After Jesus leaves his unbelieving brothers, he travels with his 5 disciples to Jerusalem for the Passover. Every Jewish male over 12 is required by the law of Moses to come and worship God in the holy city. They will celebrate how God freed their people from Egypt and how the angel of death passed over the houses which spread the blood of a perfect lamb on the doorpost. Jesus, the perfect lamb and Son of God, goes to worship in the city, which is overseen by the Romans. However, as Jesus walks into the temple, his Father's house, he sees that the wicked high priest has allowed people to sell animals in the court of the Gentiles. Gentiles are non-Jewish people. The court of the Gentiles was designed to be a quiet place where the Gentiles could worship, pray, and be taught about God. However, as these Gentiles are trying to pray and worship God, the merchants have moved from outside the temple into the court of the Gentiles and are making lots of noise selling their goods there. The Gentiles cannot pray because they are distracted by all the noise. Jesus looks at the greedy money changers along with the merchants shouting as they are busy selling oxen, sheep, and doves. This makes Jesus very angry. Imagine being in a church service trying to listen to a preacher pray, but there are a bunch of vendors yelling, "Peanuts, popcorn, Cracker Jacks, cotton candy, get them now." You know, you could not focus, and it would make you angry because they are disrespecting a place of worship. That is how Jesus feels. Jesus leaves the temple and finds some cords. The one who had created the world now creates a whip out of these cords. It's time for Jesus to clean out his Father's house. So with great authority, he goes back into the temple and he chases the merchants out of the temple along with their sheep and oxen. He goes over to the money changers who are putting business before worship, and he turns over all their tables and dumps out all their money. With authority, he points at the people selling doves and says, "Get these animals out of here and stop turning my Father's house into a marketplace." His disciples remember what King David had written in the Bible. He wrote, "Zeal," or passion, "for your house will consume me." Jesus is angry that greedy people have turned his Father's house into a money-making scheme. However, some of the religious leaders are angry at Jesus for kicking out the merchants. After all, they were the ones who allowed them to sell goods in the court of the Gentiles. So the Jewish leaders say, "If you have the authority to kick these people out, show us a miracle to prove your authority." Jesus answers, "I tell you, destroy this temple and I will raise it up in 3 days." Jesus is talking about his body. If the people destroy his body, his temple, he has the authority to bring it back to life 3 days later. Only God's Son has this much authority. Sadly, the religious leaders do not understand his words and they start to make fun of him. They say, "This temple took 46 years to build, and will you raise it up in 3 days? However, Jesus' disciples will remember these words after he is risen from the dead. Jesus spends time in Jerusalem during the week-long festivals of Passover and the Feast of Unleavened Bread. During this time, he performs many miracles that reveals his identity as the Messiah. Many people believe in him based on these miracles and are saved. However, Jesus, in his wisdom, who knows the hearts and minds of all men, chooses not to entrust himself This includes his future plans to them. So, what can we learn from today's narrative? Well, today's proverb is, don't distract others who are trying to worship God. Jesus was very serious about worshiping his Father. Are you? When the pastor is preaching, are you listening? Or are you like the merchants who focused on self-serving things? When you worship God at church with singing, are you focused on him? Or do you joke around and distract your friends? The next time you're at church, ask yourself, would Jesus make a whip and chase me away because I'm distracting others who are trying to worship his Father? Or would he be pleased with me for worshiping him in spirit and in truth? So, take today's proverb, turn it into a question, and ask yourself, do I distract others who are trying to worship God? In our next episode, we are going to meet a very powerful old man named Nicodemus who wants to talk to Jesus. So find out what happens in John chapter 3 and make sure to watch our next episode about Jesus and Nicodemus.
After Bible study, Mr. Nathan strolls outside with a grin and swiftly orders some pizzas.
Hey, pizza guy.
Welcome, loser, to Dream It Pizza. For once, just once. Ask for a normal pizza.
Okay, how about a pineapple pizza? You okay, buddy?
I'm a little sick.
No fooling.
You finally gave me a normal order and I can't help you. Some crazy man named Mr. Applepine came and bought all my pineapples.
Sorry?
My mum sent me to work with a pineapple fruit cup and I ate all the pineapples. Do you think I could pour the soggy juice on the pizza?
Sure.
Bless you, kind sir. Bless you.
Bida bang, bida boom. Bring that pineapple pizza to this room! What's happening? I might regret this.
Sorry, I have a little cold or a touch of the bubonic plague, thanks to those stinking fleas in the pizza sauce.
After nibbling their way through the soggy pineapple pizza, and with poor Johnson off to the ER due to the pineapple juice, the children and Pastor Kenny head home. In his cosy little nook, Pastor Kenny settles in. The warmth of the evening wrapping around him like a favourite quilt, his thoughts wander back to the day's lesson.
So, what did we learn today? Jesus took his worship seriously. Jesus respected and honored his Father. He became angry when people took their eyes off of worshiping God and used his Father's house as a way to feed their greed. Also, do you take worship seriously? At church, are you there to honor and worship the Lord, or do you joke around and distract others? Don't be like the merchants who distracted the Gentiles and brought Jesus' anger on themselves. And don't forget today's proverb, don't distract others who are trying to worship God. See you next time.
In the wilderness, John proclaimed, Christ is coming, the Lamb ordained. John's ministry points the way to Jesus, the light of day. Lamb of God in waters nigh, identified by God Most High. Faced temptation, but he won. Ministry has just begun. Behold the Lamb who takes away every sin. In spirit and truth, worship and point to him. Called him true, John and Simon Peter, Philip and Nathanael did his first miracle in Cana, and he cleansed his father's house too. To Nicodemus he did preach, moved his ministry when John was impeached. Changed a woman inside Cars land, healed a sick son by his command. Behold the Lamb who takes away every sin. In spirit and truth, worship and point to him.
somewhere in Italy, near Tony's teeny tiny ticklish olive tree.
Steven's on his way. Hey, hey, hey.
Hey you, the man with the cough condition. This is Tony S. Tree, not yours. Get away from it, you teeny little man.
I heard picking olives fresh from the tree is like a real Italian experience.
You want a real Italian experience? I'll give you one, like a gladiator in the Colosseum. Only instead of lions, you get my dogs.
I don't want your dogs, just like some olives.
As if we don't have no crazy people in Italy now America sends you.
I'll just, I thought it was, you know, like a help yourself thing. Like complimentary olives.
Look, I'm telling you, move away or Tony here will send the dogs after you. They will eat you up like my mama's lasagna. You disgust me, you barbarian. Mamma mia.
Right. So, no complimentary olives then. I'll just, see myself out.
Steve was picking up.
Next time you want an olive, go to Calmart.
Now he's knocked out all the pain. He was picking olives in the sun today.